Ukraine conflict. What is a vacuum or thermobaric bomb? As the fighting rages in and around Kyiv, Ukraine's ambassador to the United States and human rights organizations have accused Russia of employing cluster bombs and vacuum bombs on Ukrainians. Several international organizations, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have denounced the weaponry. They said that Russian soldiers deployed internationally prohibited cluster bombs, accusing them of striking a preschool in northeastern Ukraine as people sought refuge inside. Meanwhile, Oksana Makarova, Ukraine's ambassador to the United States, said that Moscow had deployed a thermobaric weapon also known as a vacuum bomb. According to the UK Ministry of Defense, Russia employed thermobaric weapons, sometimes known as vacuum bombs, in Ukraine. Thermobaric weapons are divisive because they are much more lethal than conventional explosives of comparable size, and they have a catastrophic effect on anybody caught in their explosion radius. Anyways, hey everyone, welcome to our channel Celebrity Fame. In today's video, we are going to talk about what is a vacuum or thermobaric bomb. Stick with us to the end of the video so you don't miss anything. Make sure to like and share our videos and subscribe to our channel. Without wasting any more of your time, let's jump into it. Is it possible that Russia has employed thermobaric weapons in Ukraine? Russia has acknowledged the employment of the TOS-1A weapon system in Ukraine, according to a tweet from Ministry of Defense. The TOS-1A employs thermobaric rockets to produce incendiary and explosion effects, it stated. The Russian military refers to the units as heavy flamethrowers, and they can fire rockets as far as 9 kilometers. Oksana Makarova, Ukraine's ambassador to the United States, has also accused Russia of employing them in its invasion. The Russian invasion reignites an old debate on cluster munitions and vacuum bombs. Diplomats and pundits have repeated long-held myths about battlefield weaponry, which opponents claim are too brutal or indiscriminate to be used in combat. The US ambassador made an accusation concerning the armaments used in the battle during an extraordinary meeting of the United Nations General Assembly last Wednesday, held in reaction to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We have seen footage of Russian military transporting very dangerous equipment into Ukraine, stated Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield. This includes cluster munitions and vacuum bombs, both of which are prohibited by the Geneva Convention, she said. On the same day, a retired general and former head of the US Central Command, David H. Petraeus, blasted Russia's deployment of missiles, rockets, artillery, cluster bombs, and even those awful thermobaric weapons that suck the air out of an area and out of lungs on CNN. Oksana Makarova, Ukraine's ambassador to the United States, made a similar remark the night before. According to Reuters, she said they've used the vacuum bomb today. The destruction that Russia is attempting to wreak on Ukraine is massive. With its steady flood of films and photographs revealing deadly strikes, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has reignited debate about whether particular weapons are too brutal or indiscriminate for use in combat. Officials from the Pentagon have indicated they are aware of rumors and accusations that Russia is utilizing cluster munitions and thermobaric weapons, sometimes known as vacuum bombs, in Ukraine, but have been unable to verify them. Jens Stoltenberg, the NATO Secretary General, acknowledged last week that Russia deployed cluster bombs. However, some authorities and pundits have repeated erroneous descriptions of some of the weapons in condemning Russia's activities. Cluster bombs and thermobaric weapons, for example, are not covered under the Geneva Conventions, a set of international treaties that regulate conflict. Cluster munitions are a kind of weapon that consists of rockets, bombs, missiles, mortars, and artillery shells that break apart in mid-flight and scatter smaller weapons or bomblets across a large area. Anti-personnel variants of those bomblets fail to detonate on impact 20% or more of the time, according to humanitarian demining organizations, but they may explode if picked up or handled afterward. The Cluster Munitions Convention, which went into force in 2010, prohibits the use of cluster munitions due to the danger they represent to non-combatants. The deal has been signed by over 100 countries, but the US, Ukraine, and Russia have not. By contrast, the vacuum bomb described by Ms. Makarova is obscure, seldom employed by the contemporary military, and not prohibited by treaties. Most conventional bombs and rockets have warheads that are meant to kill by exploding in massive numbers of dangerous metal shards. A vacuum bomb or fuel air explosive, on the other hand, sprays an explosive slurry air into the air, which spreads and combines with oxygen before exploding. Fuel air weapons have been employed to remove dense vegetation from minefields and landing zones. However, footage captured in Ukraine reveals that they were employed by the Russian army as part of an artillery weapon known as the TOS-1A rocket system. The TOS-1A's own description by the Russian army has further increased the public's uncertainty regarding its nature. Russia refers to it as a powerful flamethrower or a thermobaric weapon, the latter being a term used by the US military to describe weapons that have essentially supplanted fuel-air explosives. The new weapons use solid explosive compositions that may create blast waves that are comparable in size and duration. The Pentagon has utilized thermobaric explosives in both airdrop bombs and customized hand grenades and shoulder-fired rockets to attack cave complexes in Afghanistan. The phrase vacuum bomb, which alludes to the weapon's use of atmospheric oxygen and huge pressure wave it generates, is frequently misinterpreted to signify something even more sinister. The public's misperception of these weapons dates back to a 1975 event at Juan Loc when South Vietnamese pilots were accused of employing fuel-air explosive weapons during one of the Vietnam War's last engagements. They may have been the origin of the idea that blasts kill individuals by sucking the air out of their lungs, which still exists today. When questioned about rumors that an American-made bomb smothered hundreds of people at Juan Loc, Major General Winant Siddle, a Pentagon spokesperson, hypothesized that a specialized fuel-air explosive weapon would be able to devour all of the air within 20 yards of where it exploded. However, if the general's prediction had come true, atmospheric air would have swiftly filled the resultant vacuum. However, it's likely that survivors and rescuers arrive at Juan Loc to find a horrific scene, dead with no evident exterior injuries. Because fuel-air bombs generated large explosions with very little shrapnel, some of the fatalities would have only sustained internal injuries. After air sacs known as alveoli break, the victim's lungs would have been filled with blood rather than bereft of air. The pressure might have also crushed their internal organs. However, this would not have necessarily resulted in a visibly disfigured body. Activists use weapons including napalm, fuel-air bombs, and cluster munitions to protest the war in general during the Vietnam War, but their concerns did not result in any long-term adjustments by the Pentagon. All three weapons were deployed by US forces in Desert Storm in 1991 and again in Afghanistan in 2001. Defense Secretary Robert M. Gates promised in 2008 that the Pentagon will stop using obsolete cluster bombs by January 1, 2019. Using these weapons, an intervening decade needed consent from one of the four-star generals and admirals new as combatant commanders. General David Petraeus, one of those commanders, supervised the last known deployment of cluster munitions by American soldiers in battle in 2009. What is a thermobaric bomb and how does it work? A thermobaric bomb, also known as a vacuum or aerosol bomb or fuel-air explosive, is made up of two distinct explosive charges in a fuel container. This may be fired as a rocket or dropped from an airplane as a bomb. The initial explosive charge detonates as it strikes its target, opening the container and dispersing the fuel mixture as a cloud. Any building holes or defenses that aren't completely sealed may be penetrated by this cloud. The cloud is then detonated with a second charge, resulting in a large flame, a gigantic blast wave, and a vacuum that absorbs all surrounding oxygen. The weapon has the capability of destroying reinforced structures and equipment, as well as killing or injuring people. They are employed for a number of functions and are available in a variety of sizes, including grenades and handheld rocket launchers for individual troops. Huge air-launched versions have also been developed with the goal of killing defenders in caverns and tube systems where the weapon's effects are the most severe. The US tested a 9,800 kilograms bomb in 2003 dubbed the mother of all bombs. Russia created a comparable weapon, the father of all bombs, 4 years later. It exploded with the force of a 44-ton conventional bomb, making the world's largest non-nuclear explosive weapon. Thermobaric bombs have mostly been utilized in urban situations because to their destructive effect and utility against defenders buried inside buildings or bunkers. This is relevant in light of current events in Ukraine, where Russian troops are attempting to seize control of the country's capital, Kyiv, as well as other major cities in the east. And that's all for today, guys. Enlighten us with your thoughts. Share them in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit subscribe button to our channel and ring the bell icon for more amazing videos. And thank you for watching.